Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's open forum. It's time to get started. Record low turnout. When you mix goals with the holidays, this is what you get, especially goals part two. For those who missed goals part one, I kind of explained it in the introductory email. We just talked about how to set these goals. We talked about some previous goals and what our plan for today was. So let's talk about you guys and see if you have any goals that you'd like to share. As you remember, that was your homework to come up with something, and you can have plenty of goals that you do not share. That's perfectly fine. Some of them are going to be personal, and whether they're fitness goals or family goals or relationship goals or something like that, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to share some of your business goals or some of those fitness goals, whatever you want to share, as long as it's safe for work, we're perfectly happy to have it. So please feel free. Anybody wants to jump in and share their goal. And I'm going to share some of mine as well. Malvis, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ryan. I do have some goals set up for next year, and there are 3 of them that I wanted to share with the group. They're very simple, but my first one would be for next year, I want to surpass my amount of transactions that I did in 2024. So I want my 2025 transactions to be greater than this year's. That's my number one. My number two would be, which is part of integrates with my goal number one, is be more active and follow up and touch base with my pipeline more often. I have been thinking about joining an email list. I don't know. I have not done my research yet on what company I like to use, but I like to be more active in emailing my pipeline so that I can get more referrals from my already past clients rather to investing time on getting new clients. I'll do that too, rather than prospecting. But I wanted to focus more on the people that I already know and they already know me and I already have a relationship with. And then my goal number 3 that I wanted to share is I want to go on vacation only with my husband. Everywhere we always been to, we always go with our children. And so I wanted to give ourselves the time to go by ourselves. That's something personal that I wanted to share. So those are my 3 main ones. I do have other ones, and I don't know if I will be switching or adding later on during the year, but at least those are my main 3 for now.
Awesome. Malvis, I want you to take those goals, especially the one about following up with clients, but even the personal goal about going somewhere with your husband, kind of give yourself a time-based thing for that. You got to do it by a certain time, or you got to do something, or otherwise time just goes by. And I know this from those of you who've had kids or whatever, or even relationships where you want to go on a trip somewhere and you realize it's been 5 years and we haven't been to Europe or wherever you want to go. But your kids grow up before you're able to take them places, and and then they've got their own lives and stuff like that too. So, but I want to talk to you about your following up with clients thing. You said a lot of, I want to do more of that. I want you to be specific and make it measurable. Obviously it's achievable. Obviously it's relevant. So make it specific, measurable, and time-based, but follow up with X amount per week or follow up with X amount per day. You've got to do that kind of stuff to make it a daily thing, or to make sure you're going towards your goal every day, every week. So to make sure that you do it, don't just say, I want to be better at it. It's like saying, I want to be in better shape, or yes, I want to make more money. You got to have a plan for it. And that's what today's is about. Today's is about making sure it's specific and measurable. Obviously, everything you guys are going to tell me are, typically they're going to be achievable and they're always going to be relevant to your business, obviously. And I think that's great. I think way more of us, one of the things that we miss the most is following up with old clients rather than just prospecting. I think we do a lot of prospecting and a lot of chasing our tails around, and we don't get the people who are most likely to do business with, the people who already know you and trust you and like you. And those are the people who are most likely to do business with you. Why would you not fish in a barrel rather than just fishing in the ocean, So that's great, but make it specific and measurable. Go through your database and say, you know what, I have I have, 200 previous client, whatever, how many of our previous clients you have, or previous people you got close to, or, touch base with, or you've been working them and working them and working them. And, you did a lot of rentals this year. You told us last week to, make sure that, those people are still on track to get their credit fixed or get whatever their down payment together, qualify for down payments, whatever the reason there was they didn't buy. And make sure that you're their realtor and they know that you're there for them all the time. So whatever your plan is, I'm sure it's going to be great because you do a great job. People really know you, and people who know you really like you, but be specific and measurable on how many every week you're going to do, because just saying I'm going to do a better job at that isn't going to get, I know you know this already, but it isn't going to get it done. You've got to say, I want to follow up with 5 a week or 10 a week or 20 a week.
Correct. And part of, I have it written down on my second goal for my follow up on the pipeline. I had and track it. So I want to be able to track the date when I last contact somebody. So, because I don't want to spam them with messages or whatnot, but either whether it's a text message or a birthday or a holiday catch up or anything, I want to, in my Excel sheet, keep track of when was the last time that I contacted that person.
Mm-hmm. Good. And you may want to consider a CRM if you're doing it all out of Excel, because it makes it a lot easier to put in their birthdays and their kids' birthdays and their, when their kids are going to graduate and all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're following their social media. That's
Yes.
a good way to tell a lot of those things,
I open, Ryan, I don't know if anybody else uses it, but I open an account because it's free with Trello. So to transfer all my contacts into Trello instead. And keep track that way, because Trello has that ability as well to where you can make cards and put all that. And there's a free version that I am intending to learn how to use better.
Okay. Will you put that in the chat? The name
Yes.
of that? Okay. Thank you. Malvis, you always do a great job sharing your goals, and you do a great job of hitting your goals. And that is awesome. I really appreciate that. Those of you who don't know, Malvis has come a long way. She's been awesome. And she's a good realtor, really good realtor. And it's great to see her sharing her goals and hitting those goals every year. So that's awesome, Malvis. All right. Anybody else want to share a goal? Anyone else? Come on, Tammy. Don't make me pull your teeth here.
All right. I have kind of what Melvis had. I want to keep in touch with my clients like 2 times a year, either by mail or probably by mail, like maybe mid-year send something out, maybe a 4th of July thing, and then at Thanksgiving or Christmas, or kind of do like both, just depending on the amount, and and maybe do handwritten. So I did that this year, and I makes me feel very good about myself that I actually did it. And that's kind of really all I've kind of come up with. I really hate setting goals because, I mean, you can say all day long you want to do more business than you did last year, but I just sometimes don't know how you really do that. I just don't know how you do it. So.
Well, you aren't alone. We normally have, 60, 70, 80 people in these, and we have 22. So you're not alone in hating goals. I always know those are going to be our least attended open forums of the year. And sometimes when I just want to break, I'll do a mid-year goal setting thing, just so you guys leave me alone. Don't come to the open forum. I'm kidding. So why do you hate it so much? I mean, it's you do so well, Tammy.
I just don't know that it's possible, kind of. I mean, it's so arbitrary, I think. Yeah.
That's the whole point, though, to make it specific and measurable, to make it and it doesn't have to be necessarily more. What you learn something every year, don't you? Are you smarter than you were last year and the year before?
Yeah, I'm going to a prospecting course tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. To actually learn how to prospect better. So, just keeping your skills up and continuing to learn and try to be better and improve.
Right. Okay. So the specific and measurable part, though, the learning part is what is working for me in this year versus that year and versus that year, right? And of course, nothing, if you, something you did this year wouldn't have worked for you numbers wise because it was such a down year across the industry. But you're getting, if your numbers weren't down 42%, then you're doing better than the rest of the field. So you did gain on the field. You did get a bigger piece of the pie than you had before, because across the industry, it was at least 42% down. And that was before the last couple of months, which have been really, really dry. So it's been a tough year, but this year, if you do these things, these specific and measurable things, like I remember you setting time aside to call people, or setting time aside to do whatever. And I like the mailers. You send the mailers and then you follow up. I don't know if you got my letter. I'm, really excited about this and that, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be salesy at all. You're just checking in with them. I like the 2 times a year. That's perfectly fine, but it gives you a reason to do more. Anybody you sold a house to this year, I would say I would have ready to go on the first week of January. Here's how you file your homestead, and give them the website.
Here's what did you say? Here's what? How you do
Here's
it?
how to file your homestead.
Oh yeah. I do that every year.
Yeah.
I call everybody a couple of times.
Right.
And I take all my people, I took them all poinsettias that I sold this year. So yeah.
Awesome. Those are all great things. So, if you want to have, if one of your goals is going to be, 4 touches per client this year, or whatever it is, 4 touches per contact, whatever it is, the poinsettias count, the, July 4th letter counts, the whatever it is. Obviously they didn't all buy you this year, so they're not all going to need the homestead thing. But yeah, that's a great way to follow up a couple of times with homestead. That shows them that you care. There's no more commission to be made anytime soon on that client. Would you agree? Unless they send you friends or family, which they will if they're thinking about you. But that shows that you weren't just there for the check. You're there.
I kind of do the homestead at the beginning of January, and then I text them again to make sure they did it, because I would hate for them to lose out on that. So like in mid-February, I send them another text and say, hey, did you guys get signed up, or, blah, blah.
Right. That's brilliant. That's exactly what you should do. That's why you send it as early as possible. So you can follow up and follow up and follow up until they tell you, Tammy, we did it.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Right.
But no, until they tell you they did it, and they're not going to say, leave me alone. They're going to say, thank you so much for following up. I completely forgot about this. And now it's February 8th, whatever. And I've got to go ahead and do it. So that's great. That's exactly what you should be doing. And mention that just shows them that you care, because the biggest thing that they don't like is when you get your commission, they don't hear from you.
Right.
And that shows them you're still out there trying to save them money. You're still going to bat for them with the real estate world, and they don't have to worry about real estate as long as they've got Tammy. They know somebody's looking out for them. So that's great. But set your goals, and you did this before, specific and measurable goals. I remember you setting that aside. You decided to get more technologically savvy with a few things as well. And all that stuff has I'm sure helped your business. So keep going with that. That's great. Daryl.
Hey, just to follow up with what Tammy was doing about the client follow-up. Birthdays, anniversaries, kids' birthdays. I do that all year and try to follow up with them at least, like Ryan said, 4 times a year. So that's birthday, anniversary, kids' birthdays, and then you can do the other stuff, which, 4th of July or whatever, pick some holidays or whatever. But that's how I follow up with them 4 times a year. And actually I just sent out Christmas cards, and I'm already getting back texts. Thanks very much. Come on by, see the house, see how we decorated it, blah, blah, blah. So
and if they're inviting you by their house, you're their guy. And I love that. And that's exactly right. There's no money for you to make, but you need to go by their house because they need to, there is money for you to make, but there's not an obvious reason to do this other than that you care. And oh, wow, this is great. You guys, and that's the kind of thing, anything that fits your personality and it's not crazy to do. I don't know why, but nobody invites me by to see their house. I don't know. But that's, go by and make a big deal about it. Like you would. I'm sure you enjoy it. It's awesome. So that's the kind of thing that's awesome. And it shows that you care and that they care about you, because I'm not inviting people by to see my house. And if they care about you, then you're their realtor. And I love that. And so, and when you're there, it's like, man, this is awesome. What's going on with you guys? What's next for you guys? Whatever. Oh, my kids are going to move down. They're coming down to Orlando. He got a job at whatever. She got a job over there. Oh, really? Are they gonna be looking for a place to live? Well, they'll probably rent for a year. Great. That's a sale in a year. And you might only make $300 today, or, when they move down in August or whatever, but a year from August, you're going to make $10,000 or $12,000. And that might seem like a long way out to be doing that, but that's a year from then, 18 months from now, you'll be glad you did. So that's awesome. And then they're going to move every 5 to 7 years, and the original clients are going to move every 5 to 7 years. And that's how you build a book of business. Juan.
Hey guys, I was a little late, so I don't know if you guys touched on this or not, but one thing that has worked for me on the goal setting type of thing, accountability groups. I find it that when I tell somebody I'm going to do something, somehow psychologically it makes me do it. Whereas if I just say, oh, I'm going to do it, sometimes it takes me a while. So right now I just have either affirmations or the important goals that I really want to do, kind of like on a reminder to hold myself accountable if I don't have somebody else. And it's very simple, but somehow it has worked. It's like, remember that this is your goal. Remember that this is your focus, because there's so many things going on in everybody's life and everything, that it's not that we don't want to do it. It's sometimes that we just don't click on it on the right side. So I strongly suggest accountability groups. And if not, hold yourself accountable on the serious sense. And that has helped me, whether it's exercise or work or things like that.
Well, Juan, if you want to share your goals with me, I'll do it. And we'll do it right here in this group. And that's what we do. We've done that with Malvis before. That's why I always love her sharing. Tammy has done it on here before. And I will pick on them if they aren't going toward their goal. And there's all kinds of ways to do that. There's some of you guys laugh when I say this, but those of you who have lipstick or white shoe polish or whatever, write it on your mirror in your bathroom so you think about it every day and what your goal is. Write that. If you want to make 6 figures, if you want to do this, you want to do that, the 24 transactions, and write your big goal on your bathroom mirror where you see it every morning and it motivates you. But you have to break it down into what do you need to do today to get toward that goal. What do you need to do this week? And that's what gets you going. And that's what if you want to hit that goal, that's what you do. Think about how that will change your life. Maybe it will just make you feel better make you worry less about money. But maybe it'll help you make that trip that you want to take with your significant other or by yourself, or, whatever kind of reward that you're going to give yourself. And sometimes that reward is just being able to pay my bills with no stress, or whatever it is. It isn't always money. Sometimes the reward is looking in the mirror and seeing that you've lost weight or gained weight or whatever it is that you wanted to do. So I'll share with you guys, that was mine this year. I'm going to make a big announcement here. Speaking of accountability, Juan, I wanted to get in physical shape this year. I got in good physical shape this year. I'm much better, feel much healthier, much happier. If you haven't seen me lately, you can tell when you do. But not to pat myself on the back, but that's one that I hit this year because I didn't hit any of my professional ones because the market tanked. So there you go. But for next year, some of you speak Spanish, and I've spoken to me in Spanish before, and I've been working on it for about 5 years, just through an app and through talking to some people. I am probably 80% fluent as far as words and vocabulary and sentence structure and things like that. But my goal for 2025 is to be fluent in Spanish, to finish being fluent in Spanish, and I would like to do that. So that is something I'm working on, and I'm throwing that out there to you guys, and you guys can hold me accountable. And there is no down market in the Spanish speaking world. So if I don't do it, I can't blame it on the market. It's going to be on me. So that's that. I have obviously professional and physical, fitness goals and relationship goals as well, but that's my Spanish one that I'm willing to share with you guys for this year. And hold me accountable, please. Por favor. Okay. See, there, I've did it. Paula.
Hi, everyone. I'm sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. I'm on a headset. Okay. So my goals are not necessarily, I'm not keeping any measurable goals per like the number of transactions or something this year. So what I've felt about myself with the past year being a little bit of a challenge, I have like this lingering negative mindset. So I've kind of like already started working on some things that I'm doing to fix it. And maybe I would like to share it with other people, because this is more like specific to real estate. So I'm listening to these two podcasts. I don't know how many of you are into listening to podcasts. The one is Hustle Humbly, and then the other one is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, which is like top producers focusing on their niches, and it's just boosting my mind, getting me out of that like beating myself up kind of a thing to like looking forward to next year. And that's one thing, reading more books, educating myself more. Like I wanted to learn more on the commercial real estate side of things. So yeah, that I would say is my goal for next year. More like not in terms of thinking about like the transactions I'm doing, but like keeping myself going, like having this positive mindset. I would also like to share like something that was just discussed. CRM. I found through one of the Facebook groups like two very nice CRMs, and I tried them both myself. And the basic version is actually free, so you don't really have to pay anything. One is MailChimp, the other one is HubSpot. If anybody wants to give them a try, I sent out an email, and it's actually pretty easy to transfer your database from just the MLS to either of the two CRMs via an Excel sheet. So if anybody wants to give it a shot, they're good.
Awesome. Paula, will you please share both of those? It looks like Malvis wrote Hustle Humbly in the thing, but will you share both of those podcasts and both of those CRMs?
Yes. The other one was the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and that is my favorite. Like I already started listening to it past Thanksgiving, and it's just like these top agents, how they're working their niches, and it just pumps you up. It just, motivates you to like put you in the right mindset. And Hustle Humbly is the other one, and both are real estate specific. So would you like me to put it in the
Yes,
chat?
please. Please.
Okay.
And
And
the two CRMs. One was MailChimp. I know, I recognize that one, and whatever the other one was.
Yes, HubSpot. Both of them have up to, I believe, 500 contacts. You are free to use them with the basic version. And of course, you could pay more to get like the other fancy stuff. But if you just wanted to give it a try, I mean, I use the basic version and I'm happy with them. HubSpot actually also has a website builder that you could use. Nothing fancy. I mean, just like a basic website. If you don't have one, to just give it a try. I'll add that. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I like you want to change your mentality, and you are, listening to certain things. I want to, I'll encourage you to write some goals down about what you're going to do about that, because it is one thing to be inspired. It sounds like they're very inspiring and motivating, but it's another to actually do it. And I know this from experience. I've been motivated for many things for many times, and especially like fitness goals and things like that. I don't really have a problem with business goals so much, but like being motivated for, fitness things, it actually, you have to get started somehow. You have to have a specific and measurable thing that you're going to do. You're going to go to the gym X amount of times. You're going to eat this much or whatever. So, very nice. Thank you very much, Paula. We look forward to seeing that in the chat. Tammy.
Did you see that there is a earpiece that you can put in your ear? Somebody can speak to you in another language and it translates it, whether that's true or not. And the new Android phone coming out somebody calls you in Spanish, I think it translates it to you so you can understand it in English, which is kind of cool. But I think that earpiece thing is like $150, $200. I looked it up on Amazon. I saw it on Facebook, but that's pretty amazing, actually, that you could do that.
It is, Tammy. Thanks for pointing out that I could cheat, but I can't do that. If I do that, I'll never learn Spanish.
Also, does anybody know, I think one of my clients wants a search that comes up it like in a map as opposed to the houses and you click and see where it's at on the map. Does anybody know how to do that, or is that even possible?
What kind of search are you talking about?
Like the MLS search, like when I send him houses, he wants to be able to see it, like all of the houses on a map with, you know, where they
Oh, I
are.
think you can.
I don't think I can do that.
Well, I gotta log into MLS. I'm gonna take a look at that. I don't know is the answer to that. Right
I think he said instead of looking at one house at a time, he'd like to see it on the whole map and then like,
Sure.
but you can do that. You can do that in realtor.com and stuff, but
Right.
I don't know that you can with what we have.
They don't have map search.
They do have a map search, but I don't know if it sends in a map search. You know, I mean, we have that capability on our end to look at the map, but I don't know.
Oh, like that one home thing. You don't know if they send it in a map.
Yes, exactly. In one home, he's like, "Can I see this on the map?"
I think if you go to your MLS login, I think there is an option for them to see it on the map. So you can go and it'll give you the option to see it like from your it's not in front of me right now, but you can see from their perspective. So like, you know, how it looks to the customer. I think they do have that ability. We just have to tell them how to do it.
Why can I not send that? I think I can. Okay. Carry on if anybody has anything. I'm trying to figure out if we can do this.
I was going to call support and just see too, and I'll figure it out. I mean, I'll do what the suggestions as well.
I just want to see how it's going to come through. I'm going to send myself one right now that I looked up in a map for ours, and then I'm going to see. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see that. See it right now. Huh. Okay, guys. Sorry about that. Any other goals that anyone wants to share?
Your emails are showing.
Not anymore. There's nothing too private. A bunch of you guys asking questions.
Ryan, a couple things. Well, in Spanish side, it's not that you're gonna learn, but if you listen to Spanish music and maybe even watch Spanish shows, it gets your ear going, and without knowing it, boom, 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 it starts picking up a lot. My daughter learned Spanish more by listening to Spanish music than what I was trying to teach her. Somehow it worked. And the thing for the map, I don't know if you guys know, but Google is not Google Maps that everybody knows. But when you go into Google Drive, there is a Google My Map app that is there. And you can import there a whole bunch of addresses and it would put it on the map. Maybe that helps. It's not as easy as clicking the MLS, but if you ever have to do a route for like 10 different addresses and you want the whole coordinates, you know, in one shot, if you go to My Drive, you go new. Not too many people know about this because it's not in the app section of Google, but if you go to new, it's called, let me see. Yeah, Google My Map.
You can do that in the MLS. Did you know that? You put directions, you hit all the properties you want to show. I put them in carts, and then I show them on the map, and then I just kind of organize them like that. But you can go into directions and it'll map it out, but you can move things around as well.
That's pretty cool.
All right, I'm waiting on this email to get here. I sent myself an email to see if I can see them. So, all right, guys, do you guys have any questions? So we are going to be just kind of a housekeeping stuff. And I want to get more into the goals, but we are going to be closed, obviously, on Tuesday. We don't have open forum on Christmas or New Year's Day, of course. We'll have those of you guys who can make it, if you're in the Orlando area or anywhere you are, if you want to make it Friday, I think it's at 2:00 I invited you guys all to our holiday party. And then we'll be closed Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll be closed half a day on New Year's Eve, and give our people time to get out there and, paint the town red or whatever they're going to do on New Year's Eve. And then, of course, close for New Year's. Then we're back to it. Guys, I am very much bullish on 2025. I think it's going to pick up. I think there's a lot of demand that has been dampened by interest rates and everything else, but people have got to. You guys know the only people moving now are people who have to for life events. They're doing this or doing that. The only people getting these 7% interest rates are people who really have to. They don't want to give up their 3% for this 7%, and that has been a struggle. But there's a lot of pent up demand for moving and for upsizing or downsizing or whatever. I literally know people in my life who love to get out of their 5-bedroom into a 3-bedroom now that the kids are gone and stuff like that. That's kind of the age I am now, where people's kids are going away. Hopefully not to jail, to college, or to get married or whatever. So they're moving, and life events are doing that, or their parents are moving down, and so they're buying something, or whatever is going on. Their life events, and they want to move on. So they have to move on. That's what's been driving it. But now I think there's going to be the people who just want to move are going to start moving again. They've just been burning to move, or they've been burning to downsize or upsize, and now they're going to have that chance, or to get in that school district they want, or whatever it is. And in 2025, they're going to have that chance. I don't know that rates are going to drop a tremendous amount. Obviously, they said they're going to keep easing down slowly the Fed rate, but that doesn't affect obviously mortgages directly, or would have already gone down. But it will slowly ease into that. So I'm excited about that. I think 2025 is going to be a good year overall. It's going to start out slow, and I think by the end of the year it'll be pretty back to normal, hopefully. So I think it'll be a little slower than the average year because where we're starting from. But I think by the end of the year we'll be back up to an average market, hopefully better. But let's focus on growing our market share now while we can. That should be a goal for you guys, and that's kind of a broad goal, but that's what these are about. I'm not as happy as I could be in my life. How can I break that down into things that I think will make me happier? And things don't always make you happy. You've done this before. You've always said, when I have this or I have that, I'll be happy. When I get this degree or that achievement, or my kid goes to school, or my kid, whatever, I'll be happy. When I get married and have kids, I'll be happy. Not everything's going to make you happy. Some things make you a little bit happier than you were before, but you guys are all on this call because you want to make more money typically, right? And because that will make you happier in your life. And you don't think about this often like this, but how can you be happier in your life? And what's going to make you feel better? Is it going to be making a little bit more money? Will that take some stress off of you, or whatever it is, right? Or help you reach your goals in other areas of your life? And hopefully it will. But let's break that down to how you're going to make more money. What do you think works for you? Because what works for Juan doesn't work for Pollock, etc. Right? So let's see what works for you, and those are the things we want to focus on, and how we break that down into a daily or weekly activity that's going to pay off for you. And so that's what this goal setting is all about, and then making it specific to what am I going to do daily to get to these, because that's what people don't do. They don't look at what they're going to do daily or weekly to reach their goals. And I think that's important to do. Okay, the answer to this was, I'm going to share it. The answer to her question, to go back a little bit, is, I just sent it from the map page, and it's a map. This is the area near my home. I just did a map, and this is what they got when they opened their email. So, Tammy, now that you've left the meeting, here's your answer. So there you go. All right. That's all. She just left the meeting. She got a call. But okay, guys. Well, Do you guys have any other questions or comments before we go? So those of you wondering, this is how you send the map. I just went to the map on the Matrix. I did a map search instead of any other search. This is what I had. And then I did a new auto email and did it that way. Send it to myself, and there it is. So if you send it from the map, it's going to send them a map. That's your answer. All right. I thought that might be the case, and it is. So good. All right. Any other questions before we go about the holiday, about the market, about goals, about anything like that? So if you think you need it, if you get a sale, Juan, if you get a sale for every 100 phone calls you make, and you made, 1,000 phone calls last year and you had 10 sales, well, guess what? Make 2,000 this year. And how do I make 2,000 this year? Well, I do 40 a week and I take 2 weeks off. How do I do 40 a week? I do 8 a day, Monday through Friday, or whatever it is. And then you get to that. And yes, Nikki, I do thank you. That's a great note. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Those of you who shared your goals, I really appreciate it. That is very brave of you, and I appreciate it. Natalie, I know you've shared your goals before. Let's get in those open houses and get them done. And whatever your goals are for this year, let's do it. And that's how, Natalie talked about last week. Those of you who hear that last week, Natalie talked about she missed her goal of open houses, but she got sales from the ones that she did. So if you want to double your sales from those, then do it. And you're going to get 6 sales from this, 3 sales from that, 4 sales from that. I'm in the PTA. I'm my daughter's softball league, my this, my that, right? And that's how I got 2 sales from other moms in the mom's preschool program or whatever it is that you guys do. You're gonna put together a bunch of others. I did some mailers and I got 1 sale from that, and I did this and that. So, guys, if you spend $1,500 and you get a sale, that's a pretty good thing, because that sale, especially if you follow up and that sale becomes more and more and more referrals, and those people in 5 to 7 years are going to sell again and move and buy again, etc. So guys, you're doing great. Keep up the great work. I love that the 24 of you or 27 of you or whatever there were in here came for this goal setting thing. I really think it'll pay off for you. And you guys always come to these because you want to do better and you want to make more money and you want to be more successful at what you do. So I know that I'm talking to the right crowd of people who want to do better. And this is a step in doing that. So thank you guys all for coming. We'll see you next time. And yes, Rodney, happy holidays to everyone. And I'll see you in 3 weeks, if not before. Bye, guys.